It's time now for a look at this Friday's French papers with our press reviewer Florence Vimino. And Florence, slightly more down-to-earth topic. That long-running saga over a steel plant in northern France continues.
Right. The Fleuranges steel plant. Le Parisien is calling the whole situation a fiasco. They're saying they look at what they call the autopsy of a disaster. And so the plot has been thickening in recent days. Yesterday, the steel plant ArcelorMittal announced that it was withdrawing its application from a European Commission subsidy for something called ULCLOS project. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah. The project is to create green steel in an environmentally friendly way, and it was a key part in a deal that ArcelorMittal reached with the government. So a lot of people are fearing that because ArcelorMittal withdrew its application, the whole deal is going to fall apart. And a lot of people are upset about this, and a lot of people are angry with the Prime Minister, Jean-Marc Ayrault. Libération, for instance, the left-leaning paper, calls him an enfumeur. That's a pretty big insult. It means he's a swindler. He's tricked everybody. He's put smoke in their eyes. And in their editorial, they say the editorial is called Anger, and they say that workers, their tears and anger it's legitimate. They're completely legitimate to be angry right now because, first of all, the government isn't keeping its promise to save the plant, and on top of that, the whole way that the government has managed the situation has been really awful, according to Libération. Not only did Jean-Marc Ayrault ignore workers, but he signed a bad deal with ArcelorMittal. And so this makes the Prime Minister look bad. It also makes the President look bad. And there's a funny cartoon in Le Parisien which points this out, where you see Jean-Marc Ayrault there sitting on a bunch of spikes that represent ArcelorMittal. He says, "Ouch, that hurts." And Hollande says, "Well, don't you think there's a better way to boost steel consumption?"
Very good. Well, Ayrault, the Prime Minister, is drawing a lot of the fire, but one of his ministers does seem to have come out on top.
That's right, and it's surprising because earlier this week he was seen as somewhat of a black sheep. It's Arnaud Montebourg, the Industrial Recovery Minister. Last week he threatened to nationalize temporarily the Fleuranges plant to save the jobs there, but that idea was shut down by the government. And a lot of people think that though that idea was shut down, he's gaining ground again. He's gaining support. And this is an article in the Figaro, which is surprising because it's the right-leaning paper. But they say perhaps he's the one that's come out the big winner in this whole affair because he's gaining support within the Socialist Party. According to Le Figaro, a lot of people in the Socialist Party see him as the victim of the government's liberal capitalist policies. And Le Parisien points out that he had actually already drafted a bill for this temporary nationalization. He'd hired legal experts to make sure that the project was viable. It was a 10-page bill with 10 articles to, quote, save France's productive activities. So it was ready to be implemented. All it was waiting for was the green light. Remains to be seen if that'll happen.
Arnaud Montebourg perhaps coming out on top after all. Moving on to another story, though. Le Monde is outraged by the state of French prisons. Fascinating article.
That's right. It's a fascinating article. This comes after the general inspector of prisons took a visit to the Marseille prison of Les Baumettes. And Le Monde says that this is the prison of shame. So Jean-Marie Delarue, the general inspector, said he was shocked after visiting the prison. He described it as overpopulated, falling apart. It stank of urine. It was overrun with rats, and it was gangs who really imposed the law there. And if you're interested, Le Monde on their website has a photo gallery taken inside the prison, and it's really shocking. It's the kind of images you would expect to be seen in a third world country. In their editorial, Le Monde is outraged, and they quote Camus saying that the only way to judge the degree of civilization of a nation is to visit its prisons. And according to Le Monde, Les Baumettes is proof that France is regressing. It's treating its inmates in an inhumane way. And according to Le Monde, the one immediate solution is to stop locking more people up than their places in prison.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's French newspapers.